The Galactic Council chamber hummed with tension thick enough to cut with a plasma blade. Representatives from 47 species filled the tiered seats, their weapons drawn, their translators crackling with threats in 100 dialects. At the center of the circular floor stood Ambassador James Chen, hands clasped behind his back, eyes closed as if meditating. Commander Zrekthor of the Vraxian Empire slammed his six-fingered fist on the podium, his exoskeleton rattling with the impact. This is what the humans send? This silent weakling? His mandibles clicked in what passed for Vraxian laughter. We stand on the brink of the greatest war the galaxy has ever seen, and Earth sends us this? The chamber erupted in agreement. The insectoid krill ambassador chittered mockingly. The gelatinous morphids rippled with what their species considered contemptuous amusement. Even the normally diplomatic selenites, with their crystalline bodies refracting the chamber's harsh light, seemed to shimmer with skepticism. Ambassador Chen hadn't moved. He stood there, a figure unremarkable by galactic standards. No towering height, no natural armor, no telepathic abilities, no venomous stingers. Just a middle-aged human in a simple gray suit, graying at the temples with the kind of weathered face that spoke of too many sleepless nights and difficult decisions. Perhaps the human is defective, suggested Ambassador Trillix of the Aquarian Collective, her gills fluttering with disdain. Their species is known for their fragility. Maybe this one has finally broken under the pressure of real galactic politics. Or perhaps, growled General Korthax, his scales gleaming blood red in the light, the humans have simply accepted their place as a minor species. Too young, too soft, too emotional to play in the deep waters with the rest of us. The krill ambassador raised a serrated appendage. I move that we proceed without human input. They have had 3 cycles to speak. Their silence is answer enough. Seconded, came a chorus of voices. That was when Ambassador Chen opened his eyes. They weren't angry eyes, nor were they afraid. They held something far more unsettling, a deep, ancient weariness that seemed to stretch back millennia. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, barely above a whisper. Yet somehow it cut through the chaos like a knife through silk. You want to know why I've been silent? The chamber stilled. Every species possessed keen survival instincts, and something in that soft voice triggered an instinctive recognition that a predator had entered the room. Chen took a slow breath. I've been listening. For 3 days I've listened to each of you detail your grievances, your territorial disputes, your holy grounds, your breeding planets, your economic interests. I've listened to you threaten each other with extinction. I've watched you brandish weapons that could glass entire worlds. He paused, his gaze sweeping the chamber. And I've been trying to understand how species that have mastered faster-than-light travel, quantum mechanics, and dimensional engineering, how you can all be so cosmically stupid. The silence deepened. No one had ever spoken to the Galactic Council this way. Not and lived. Chen continued, his voice still quiet but carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. You mock humans for being young, for being soft, for being emotional. He smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Let me tell you about my species. We evolved on a death world. Yes, I know, every species claims that. But Earth is classified as Category 9 hostile by your own Planetary Assessment Bureau. Our planet tried to kill us with ice ages, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, diseases, and predators that make the Vraxian shock troops look like domestic pets. Zrekthor's mandibles twitched, but he remained silent. We survived all of it, Chen said. And then when we finally developed consciousness, we turned on each other. For 10,000 years, we perfected the art of killing our own kind. We created weapons that could end all life on our planet 100 times over. We poisoned our own water, burned our own air, and still, we survived. He began to walk slowly around the chamber's center, and unconsciously, weapons tracked his movement. You know what we learned? We learned that violence is easy. Any fool can pull a trigger. Any idiot can launch a missile. Destruction requires no intelligence, no creativity, no courage. A child can break something in seconds that took years to build. His voice hardened slightly. But peace? Peace is the hardest thing in the universe. Peace requires strength. Not the strength to kill, but the strength to not kill when every instinct screams for blood. Ambassador Trillix found her voice. Philosophical platitudes won't... I'm not finished, Chen said, and something in his tone made the Aquarian's words die in her throat. You asked why Earth sent me. I'll tell you. Before I became a diplomat, I was a soldier. I served in the last wars, what we call the conflicts that nearly destroyed our species. I've held dying friends in my arms. I've given orders that sent thousands to their deaths. I've seen cities burn and children starve. I carry 37 years of war in my memory, and I will carry it until I die. His hands unclenched from behind his back, and for the first time the council could see them clearly, scarred, weathered, trembling slightly. Not from fear. From the effort of control. Earth sent me because I know what you're all about to do. I've seen it before. I've lived it. And I'm here to tell you that if you go down this road, if you let your pride and your anger and your fear drive you to war, you won't just destroy your enemies. You'll destroy yourselves, your cultures, your futures. Everything you claim to be fighting for will burn, and what survives won't be worth saving. The silence in the chamber was absolute. Chen's voice dropped to barely a whisper. So here's what's going to happen. Each of you is going to lower your weapons. You're going to sit down, and you're going to spend the next however many days or weeks or months it takes to find a solution that doesn't involve genocide. Because if you don't... His eyes, those tired ancient eyes, swept across every face in the chamber. If you don't, humanity will remember. And we're very, very good at remembering. We'll remember which species chose war over peace. And when your civilizations are ash and your planets are tombs, we'll be here. We'll survive. Because that's what we do. That's all we do. He stood there, this unremarkable human, and suddenly he didn't seem small at all. One by one, weapons lowered. First the Selenites, their crystalline forms dimming in what might have been shame. Then the Aquarians. Then slowly, reluctantly, the Vraxians. Even General Korthax's scales faded from blood red to a muted orange. Commander Zrekthor was the last. His weapon hovered, aimed at nothing, trembling in his grip. Finally he lowered it, and his massive body seemed to deflate. "Why should we believe you?" he asked quietly. "Why should we believe humanity would survive when we would not?" Ambassador Chen's smile was sad, infinitely sad. "Because we've already survived ourselves. And Commander, that's a far more dangerous enemy than you could ever be." He turned and walked back to his seat in the human delegation area, leaving the most powerful beings in the galaxy sitting in stunned silence, each contemplating the species they had so foolishly dismissed. The negotiations lasted 3 months. Not a single shot was fired. And every species learned the same lesson. Never mistake quietness for weakness, diplomacy for cowardice, or patience for inability to act. Because humanity had mastered the hardest skill in the universe. The discipline not to destroy, even when destruction would be easy. They had mocked the quiet human diplomat. He had spoken, and the galaxy had listened.